Поэтому груза лежат.
Ну, она выйдет, просто Вадим пускай там это.
Нет, просто на момент.
Просто мы забудем.
The Russian State Ballet and Opera House tours the UK twice a year, with opera, usually in the spring, and then in the autumn with ballet, both with a 30-piece orchestra. I spoke to producer Alexej Ignatow backstage while the company prepared for a performance of Swan Lake.
It all started in the UK about 8 years ago, when we started bringing, in addition to Germany, to the UK, Russian folklore dancing, and then developed it into ballet and opera as well. Opera and ballet on a bigger scale, we started performing about 4 years ago.
Because you tour with very large companies, don't you? I mean, how many does the ballet have on the road?
The ballet has, including all the supporting staff, 85, 90 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yes.
And you're on the road for how long?
This time around it's 6 weeks. Next year, for example, it will be already 8 weeks or 9 weeks, so quite a long tour.
Hard work, logistically, if you're doing 3 shows.
Yes, so every day, and we have lots of one-nighters, so we pack every day, move on to the road, and yeah.
Do you prefer ballet or opera? Is one easier than the other?
No, both have the complications. With opera, usually a quick rehearsal would be sufficient on a day. With ballet, they have to have the class before, so the stage needs to be ready at 3 o'clock. They have the class, then they have a rehearsal, because it's much more, how should I say, physical of ballet in itself. So it takes a lot of preparation. Every stage, every day is different, so we need to do adjustments. Whereas with opera, it's just set everyone out and we're good to go.
Антонио, ты нам такую устойчивую иголочку выбрал. Может, ты перевернуть, да? Ты приучил?
И раз, и два. Стеми, плие. И раз, и два. И три. Быстро. Брюнцора на 45. И ровно на 45. Грамм батман через пассе. Грамм трон. Пике наверх. Подтянутые копчики не оставляйте копаем. Два назад. Брюнцора. Первое. Вперед. Все назад.
I mean, opera singers are still quite temperamental, aren't they? They're still.
Yes. I mean, as I say, everybody has each opera and ballet have their own challenges.
Because you don't always work with the same company, do you?
No, and that's what basically differentiates us from the others, where we work with 2 Russian state theaters. So, which means, for example, if we bring Nutcracker and Swan Lake this year, and it will be the same titles next year, for example, the shows in itself, although it's the same title, will be completely different. So this way the audience gets to see another show, another staging, another artists, ballet dancers, and the whole set, everything will be completely different.
So how do you fix the shows? Do you just go to the theatre in Russia and say, what have you got? Or do you go and say, I'd like a Swan Lake, or I'd like a Nutcracker?
Yes, and basically we have the partners we work with them. We work 2-3 years in advance, so we know exactly what we'll be doing in 2018 now, and then we take those products and go and offer it to the UK theatres.
So is the UK tours these companies do, are they fairly important in their year?
Important in that sense that because it's an established Russian state theatre back home, opera and ballet, they cannot travel and they cannot go on tour a lot. because they have a repertoire back at home which they need to complete, and it's only maximum 8-9 weeks they can get out. They do some regional touring within Russia, but otherwise this is kind of one off a year, twice a year max that they can afford. Unlike some other companies that tour around Europe, they are on the road all the time.
Yeah.
They don't have a base back in Russia. They come together a week before, rehearse, and off they go. And that's where we kind of differentiate from the rest.
But it's much better to have a proper company who work together all the time and know each
exactly.
other and know the orchestra, and the orchestra knows them.
There's no adaptation. I mean, there's adaptation on the regional or on the local level, but between themselves, they all know each other. They know how to dance with each other.
Which is important.
Of course, and that basically reflects what we are able to put on stage quality-wise.
So the logistics of working with a company of whatever, 70, 80 people. I mean, at what stage do you take over? When they arrive at Heathrow, or when they leave?
No.
When
I
they leave
mean,
Russia?
when they arrive here, 90% of the work is done. So the actual touring in itself is only 10%.
So you have to arrange everything from the minute
Yes.
they leave their theatre in Russia to here. It's your
Or
responsibility.
even before that,
Even before
like a year before, have to tell them exactly what's happening, when what is happening, how many people I need, and then they prepare and work towards it. A year before, about 9 to 10 months before, we arrange all the logistics, how we're going to move between each venue, where we're going to stay. Then obviously the marketing aspect starts about half a year, 7 months in advance. And that all happens when they arrive. As I say, 90% of the work is already done. I mean, it's all kind of step by step. It's not all at once. If it was at once, it would be impossible.
So how do the logistics work? Are you in Russia when they leave? I mean, do you hold their hand all the way, or do you just
No.
pick them up? at
We'll
Heathrow
pick
or
them up
something?
from Heathrow, yes, but we arrange all the logistics for them to
So
arrive.
you
at
travel
Heathrow.
in two buses. The dancers go in one, and the
Yeah.
orchestra goes in
Yeah,
another.
that's right. And then we have the technical crew traveling separately with the
And
lorry.
and you stay in all in the same hotel.
No, different as well.
Mm.
Just for simplicity, because if, let's say, imagine 80 people checking in one hotel, that would take already a long time. So we split up, and it works better. I mean, the most challenging thing is to make sure everything arrives on time and everyone arrives healthy. Because once they arrive, then anything can be worked around, and but we have plenty of time, of preparation time, where to avoid any issues.
I mean, do you have problems, or is it difficult to get visas and things like that in Russia?
It's not
I think you
difficult.
told me it was expensive.
It's
though.
expensive, yeah, thanks to our
What does it
home
cost?
office. I think currently it's about £240
Each
Yes.
for 80.
Yeah. So that's very challenging because, for example, in Europe it's a lot more affordable and a lot more cheaper. So that's the challenging part. But that separates why there's so few companies coming over, and most of them of high quality, as opposed to having lots of different troops spoiling the product and giving it a bad name.
Because it's important to you to have good quality,
Of course.
not just do it.
No, and because I'm still young, we're investing lots in the company to make sure that we deliver what we say we deliver, as opposed to cutting corners just to make sure to get a financial gain. My wife is involved. It's a family business. We're here for a long
And
time.
your parents, I think, started it.
And the parents, we started it back in Germany in 2000 or in 1999. So it's all set out for the future, really, and to make sure we deliver the promise we deliver. And it would be a lot easier and cheaper for us to work with troops, like I mentioned, that just come together a week before, rehearse, and you bring them over. But
But it shows. You know it's not a proper company. They don't have proper
Exactly.
scenery. They don't have good costumes. They don't work very well together on stage.
Yeah.
It's very, very evident that the companies you work with are permanent permanent professional
Exactly.
companies.
Exactly.
And the same applies to the orchestra as well.
And that's the way they prepare, because it's only kind of once, twice a year for them. It's an important aspect, because what's important for them is it attracts, this image attracts new dancers, new opera singers to their theater, because it suddenly they have an image that they go to Germany, to go to the UK.
Do they enjoy touring?
Yes, they do. They do, because everything is taken care of. But
it is hard work. I mean, I was just
work.
downstairs when they were doing class on stage, and they weren't all on stage. Some were in the wings, some were in the auditorium. There's one girl in a box.
Yeah.
Just not space for everybody.
No, because but again, they learn to deal with it. They understand they're on tour, they're on the road, and here we have beautiful space and everything compared to some theatres we go to.
But I mean, the general public always imagines the life of a ballet dancer is very romantic, and it's not glamorous at all.
No, and they put a lot of work into it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a profession. It's a profession, and they're very professional about it, and they put a lot of effort. And as you just experience in a class, they do it every day, just to make sure that they deliver every day. Because every day we have a new audience, so it can be very easily to go in the routine and just let it go.
Any problem with injuries? I mean, do you
Yes,
travel with a physio?
well, yes, we have a doctor with us all the time, and he's treating them every day, be it a cold, be an injury. We have now, at the moment, we have 2-3 people injured, so he's kind of
Rehabilitating.
that's the word. He's putting them back into a healthy state. Again, that's all an integral part of the whole functioning. Everybody knows what they have to do, and to do it to the highest level every day. That's
So you're on a bit of a crusade then?
Crusade.
A crusade, trying to convert people.
Oh, convert, yes. Yes, and that's what we've done successfully in many places, as I said, who had an orchestra bit, but never used it, you know. So we always come and
But that's important to you, isn't it? To have a live orchestra, because a lot of the smaller independent companies go with recording music.
It is, because it's just another dimension. You feel the vibrations and
the tuning up is the best.
The tuning up, yes, and the children especially like to come down and have a look into the pit, look at the musicians. No, I think it's part of it, and it should be as well. I mean, we tour with 30 or just over 30-piece orchestra, which for touring is considered the most you get, basically. I mean, we go, especially with opera, we introduced opera to many regional theatres. No, and that's what really close to my heart, because those people would have to travel to London or Birmingham. But again, I mean, this is why it's so important to me, and that's why we focus on the regional level, on the local theatres, because it gives the people opportunity to go and enjoy world-class opera or ballet productions.